Well, for many of us, a day of fishing is a way to relax and get away from the normal stresses of everyday life. But for Brian Simmons, president of Owen Williams Fish Farm, fishing is not only his livelihood, it's his passion, something he fell in love with at an early age. Luckily for Brian, he has a very good mentor in Paul Williams, a man he calls his second father and a man who's become his inspiration. Here in Hawkinsville, Georgia, the lazy days of summer are just about over. But for Brian Simmons, summertime means business as usual. Although he admits this time of year is when things start to ease up a bit.
Busiest time of the year is normally February through June. Normally we're kind of slow, what I call candy to candy, from Halloween to Valentine's. So as Paul's always said, we're not really romantic around here, but we love the flowers and the candy coming out in February. It means business is fixing to pick up.
The Paul Brian mentioned is Paul Williams, the man who started Owen Williams Fish Farm and the man who gave Brian his lucky break.
I'm one of the very few fortunate people who found a job that they really enjoy at an early age. I grew up here in Hawkinsville, started working at the fish farm when I was 15 for a part-time job. Really found it interesting, kind of unique. Had some great tutelage, you know, from Paul Williams, the owner of the farm. Went to school to get a degree in fisheries, you know, to come back here to work. This has been a great 25 years or 22 years of livelihood. Very few people get to work with fish during the week. Like I said, started part-time, sling blading and spraying Roundup around the ponds, and now ultimately owning the place. Like I said, I've worked with Mr. Paul for forever and ever, since 1987, and it was in the spring of, I believe, 2013, where he was diagnosed with ALS. So his day-to-day activities here, you know, had to be cut back. So in the fall of, or September of 2014, I bought the company out, and you know, he's still here as a mentor and still helps, you know, not in the day-to-day operations, but it's great to have somebody of his intelligence, somebody who started this business, to be able to lean on and still draw a daily reference from.
According to Brian, the plan had always been for him to someday take over the company. Mr. Williams' diagnosis of ALS just forced it to happen sooner rather than later. Now that he himself is the man in charge, Brian says nothing has changed. In fact, if anything, it's forced him to take the business to another level.
The biggest thing is, just as a tribute to him, we want to run the business as if he is still here. You know, we don't want our customer service or quality of anything to diminish. We want it to be just like he's still here and the way he wanted it ran. For any business to have an owner or a founder or somebody who started the company be so involved in day-to-day activities, if they just decide to quit one day and you still run the business, it's very hard to fill those shoes because you just can't do it. You know, nobody can step in and do the day-to-day activities that he was doing. So yes, you know, Paul's like another father to me. So, you know, just from that standpoint, it's hard for him not being here every day. But then from the practical side of running the business, you know, that was the best employee. You know, and how do you replace the best employee mid-stride? I mean, you just can't do it.
And with nearly 300 acres of water, including some 80 ponds, there's enough work to keep the 15 employees of Owen Williams busy year-round. However, Brian admits there will be a day when he himself steps away to let someone else carry on the legacy.
I really want the business to continue to grow. Right now, I'm leasing the land, you know, from Paul. You know, that gives retirement to him, you know, from the business. You know, at some point in time, I would like to own the land as well as the business, but that's not, you know, any type of a pressing, you know, issue at all. But I'd like to retire at some point in time. You know, normally 20, 25 years after starting a job, you kind of look for a little retirement. And I think I started this one a little early for 20 to 25 years. So we may look at 40 or 45 years and then try to retire.